Deleon Pizarro, the man behind the uniform. How a poor and orphan boy from the Philippines achieved financial and philanthropic success in America, by Simeon G. Silverio Jr. The greatest achievement of the human spirit is to live up to one's opportunities and make the most of one's resources. Vauvenargues, French philosopher 1715 to 1747, published by the San Diego Asian Journal, a leading Filipino-American newspaper in San Diego, California. Email asianjournalusa@yahoo.com. Acknowledgement, thanks to Gerard Pizarro Esquire, Wendy Pizarro Campbell Esquire, Ali Ferguson, and Verna Deniza for their help in the preparation of this book. Simeon G. Silverio Jr., author. Editor, Genevieve Marian Tagudin Silverio Cop. First printing, 2021. Dedicated to my mother who passed away when I was 4 years old, leaving me with no single photo with which I could remember her face. The youth of the world, may my story inspire you to aspire for success beyond your means, the members of the Armed Forces of America. May your sacrifices be emulated by our grateful nation and the Filipino Americans who came before us, enduring hardships, discriminations, and prejudices to open a world of opportunities for us, the next generation. By Deleon Pizarro. Author's Introduction. After just a few years in America, I met a Filipino-American associate professor in Asian American Studies at the San Diego State University. A graduate of Far Eastern University in the Philippines, University of Hawaii, and Cornell University, he was, like me, interested in documenting the stories of Filipino-Americans, especially in San Diego, California. For years, we have been dreaming of recording the personal stories of the early Filipino immigrants in San Diego, especially the Manongs and those who followed them. The idea, however, remained just a pipe dream. We did not act on it by actually sitting down and recording their stories until these early San Diego Filipino Americans passed away one after another, the memories of their early struggling years in their adopted country, America, gone with them. It would have been easy to do so. All we had to do was sit down with them and record their stories on video, and the accounts of their American experiences would be preserved forever, to be viewed by the next generation, studied by students and scholars, and stored in the archives of history. Although dreamers, we were also immersed in the vortex of life. It was clear that raising our growing families turned the epic project into a fantasy shared by two grown men who, like bold kites that rise at noon, land back to earth in the end. Then, just like that, it was over. One day, my Filipino-American professor friend, who wrote a column in the Asian Journal, the San Diego Filipino-American newspaper I published, was also gone. I knew Tony Pizarro was an ideal subject for the project. He is one of the most successful Filipinos in San Diego, California, where I am based. He rose through the ranks in the U.S. Navy, and together with his wife, Dr. Priscilla Pizarro, built a multi-million real estate and business empire. But Tony is a very humble guy. He would not want to hear about my proposal. He just wanted to stay in the background, satisfied in giving away part of his wealth to different charitable and religious projects. One day, during a chance encounter in a social gathering, he casually mentioned that as a young boy, he had to compete for food in their dinner table back home in Orion, Bataan, a province of the Philippines. My widower father had 6 kids, and he married a widow with 6 children of her own, and since I was the youngest and we were very poor, I was always left with no food to eat after it was placed on the dinner table, he remembered. That shocked me, because I realized his story is more compelling than I thought. Can you imagine a poor boy whose mother passed away when he was 4, struggling from the beginning to become one of the richest Filipino Americans in San Diego? Definitely, his story has to be told, if only to teach a lesson to poor young people who might one day turn out to be as successful as him. But although I kept pestering him, he kept shooing me away. I guess he must have had an epiphany. Perhaps he has had a health scare and had come to realize he was a mere mortal, that someday, any day, he might be gone. And what would his grandchildren think of him? A rich grandfather who doted on and spoiled them? Would they not have had profited more from a lesson taken from his life story? Without knowing their grandfather's unbelievable story, they would not be inspired to follow his example. neither would they try as hard to overcome the obstacles they would encounter without having known their grandpa faced much more daunting challenges during his lifetime. Though he still had doubts, he called me and told me about it. This, I realized, was his Achilles' heels, the soft spot in his heart. So the next time I talked to him, I assured him by agreeing to write his life story, he would not appear like he was flaunting his wealth and bragging about his achievements. Think about the young people who would be inspired by your life story, I told him. If a poor orphan boy like Tony Pizarro can manage to become a success, how much would it be easier for them to attain a similar feat? Gradually, his heart softened and he half-heartedly agreed to do a series of interviews. "I would not do this if not for you," he assured me. "I've known and trusted you and your wife Jenny for years." Though that filled me with pride for a while, I was more excited and overwhelmed by the opportunity to tell his story to the world, and more importantly, to the present and future generations his life would inspire. By Simeon G. Silverio, Jr., San Diego, California. Chapter 1. Only in America a Dream Come True. I can't imagine a person becoming a success who doesn't give this game of life everything he's got. Walter Cronkite, broadcast journalist. It was August 9, 2009, when Tony Deleon Pizarro, a retired Filipino-American United States Navy supply officer, successful businessman and philanthropist, woke up in his brand-new Tuscan-style villa, a mansion he built, at Fairbanks Ranch in Rancho Santa Fe, California, one of the most affluent and prestigious communities in the United States. He put on his robe, got off the bed, and stepped out of the spacious suite. His wife, Priscilla Santos Pizarro, a retired doctor of medicine, was still asleep. As he emerged from the room and on his way downstairs, he passed by the pictures of their grown children, Gerard and Wendy, hanging on the wall. Both are lawyers. Gerard has a successful legal practice in San Francisco and the CEO of RK Anywhere, while Wendy, a Harvard University Juris Doctor graduate, chose to move back to San Diego from San Francisco, where she now specializes in trusts and estates. It was the last leg of a legal tour de force that began when she attended college at Yale University, stayed on for a master's degree, and then proceeded to Oxford University in Cambridge, England for another degree. Both exemplary and ambitious, brother and sister established a law firm named California Law Partners in San Diego, California. Tony grabbed a hot latte and sauntered out of the door to his beautiful backyard. Sitting in a lounge chair next to the swimming pool, he savored the cool morning air as sunlight poured through the trees. It was the family's first morning in the new house. For many people, the villa symbolizes the pinnacle of success. The extraordinary world-class estate is serene, spacious, and has sophisticated elegance. Hidden by its rustic surroundings, Rancho Santa Fe, the gated enclave Tony now called home, stuns the imagination with amenities that include a superb equestrian center, tennis courts, lake activities, a putting green, volleyball, children playground, jogging trails, and a 10,000 Sesefaf clubhouse equipped with kitchen facilities. One of the richest men in the United States has a property in the area because one of his daughters is an accomplished equestrian. A gift to his wife, the Pizarro dream home was conceived in the mind of Tony in the mid-70s. It was an exciting time to build the ultimate legacy. With the coveted land in the Pizarro's name, Tony became abuzz with ideas of how their home would look like, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, or do they want a swimming pool or a basketball court with it, how big they would want their entertainment room to be. Not only that, the kids had grown up. Gerard was already in college while Wendy was still at the University of San Diego High School. How will they build? The pieces were falling in place and the plan coming together. Trip to Spain, but it would take a serendipitous trip to Spain to seal the character of the home with the Pizarro family coat of arms. In July of 2002, Tony participated with the running of the bulls in Ciudad Pamplona, Spain, and on his way back to Madrid, he traveled as far back in Ciudad Trujillo, to which King John II of Spain had commissioned Francisco Javier Pizarro to travel to South America and where he became the conquistador of Peru. That was in 1643. During Tony's visit, he met the present older Pizarro family still living in the city of Trujillo. As a souvenir of his fortuitous visit, he brought home with him the Pizarro family coat of arms and family crest. He had the family crest, bearing 2 bears and a tree, signifying peace and sincerity, placed in every window of his house. While he could not prove direct lineage to the great historical figure, his family in Orion, Bataan in the Philippines being poor farmers as far as his kinfolk could remember, he nonetheless claimed affinity by way of the shared last name. The Pizarro estate sits on a 1.5 acre of elevated land amongst other properties. It has a 14,000 cfaf of livable space to include a guest house. It has 8 bedrooms and 8.5 bathrooms, a luxurious home theater, a spacious chairman of the board library, a doctor's office, his wife being a physician, a putting green, a custom-built, rock-heated swimming pool with a spa, a temperature-controlled wine room, a BQ pit equipped with an open fire pit, 5 private patios, a 4-car garage, a covered entranceway, 4 elegant fireplaces, informal family rooms, private grandson rooms, a formal and informal dining room, an elegant formal receiving room. It also offers a private cigar lounge patio and exercise pad. The house itself is equipped with sub-zero high-end appliances and 5 stations of air conditioning and heating units. Every room is wired for Wi-Fi, music, and intercom systems. A master builder of dreams, Tony had built a magical estate as his gift for his wife, Dr. Priscilla Santos Pizarro, for her continued support that spanned a lifetime of standing by her husband's impossible dreams that came true. Philanthropic endeavors. Tony Pizarro's success in business also enabled him to indulge in the family's philanthropic endeavors. In 2008, the family, with the help of other kababayans, Filipino countrymen, built the Santos Pizarro Gawad Kalinga Village, Giving Care, donating 42 homes for the poorest of the poor in their hometown in Orion, Bataan, in the Philippines. Gawad Kalinga is a nationwide social project headed by Tony Melodo that encourages people to build free housing for the poor in the Philippines as well as in other parts of the world. In 2010, his wife Priscilla donated $100,000 to her alma mater, the University of Santo Tomas Medical School in Manila. The family's other charitable projects include the cleaning up of the Orion River in their hometown, the building of 2 Catholic chapels, the family's participation in free medical missions to the Philippines and Vietnam for 19 years, the cleaning up of the Bataan Death March markers, and the launching of multiple scholarships and book drives. On April 1, 2005, Tony was invited by the principal of his high school alma mater, Jose Rizal Institute, to be the guest speaker in its graduation ceremonies. Before the event, he asked for a quick tour of the school. After seeing the best classroom, Tony was taken to the worst room. The sight of his former classroom, where he spent many school hours, brought back many sad and fond memories to him. Tony sat down in the same desk assigned to him in high school, and for a moment reflected on his high school days. Tears came out of his eyes. The principal and the staff watched in silence as Tony uttered to himself a thankful and solemn prayer to God, for he felt so lucky he was able to join the U.S. Navy, which enabled him to become a success while his other classmates were not. After the tour, Tony thanked the principal and her staff. As a gesture of gift-giving back, Tony gave her a 100,000 pesos, 2,000 check, for the renovation and improvement of the school to make it more conducive to learning for the future students of his town. Another beneficiary of Tony and Priscilla Pizarro's philanthropy is the Divine Mercy Foundation of Southern California, whose mission is to build a Divine Mercy site in Encinitas, California. The couple donated over $75,000 and plan to donate more to the project. Their latest charitable endeavor is with Better Life for Better Future, BLBF, a social project that feeds, educates, houses, and mentors poor children, including those from indigenous tribes in the Philippines. BLBF is also training and mentoring the children in job skills and livelihood projects. The plan is to put up similar projects in the Pizarro hometown of Orion, Bataan, financed by the Pizarro couple. Dirt poor. It is hard to imagine that Tony Pizarro was able to achieve these successes since he grew up quite literally dirt poor. He lost his mother when he was 4 years old. His father, already with 6 children of his own, remarried. She was also a widow who herself had 6 children. Still, the couple bore another child, Tony's stepsister Aure Pizarro, further increasing the brood and lessening resources. It was Brady Bunch before the popular TV show in the 1980s was aired. With so many mouths to feed in a household with already very limited resources, Tony ended up with whatever was left for him to eat, since the eldest in the brood always took the first crack at the food available and down the line. He was lucky whenever there were viand left for him, so oftentimes he had to flavor his rice with condiments, usually drops of patis, fish sauce. He was transferred to the care of one relative to another until he became old enough to join the U.S. Navy, enabling him to take control of his own destiny. All he needed was a chance, which he embraced to the fullest with his talent, hard work, and perseverance. As a result of his industry and foresight, Tony was able to help himself and other people, and in the process, achieve the ultimate American dream.